So, the first bit of news is quite similar to what I was talking about.
Gotta hit record.
Phil. Hello and welcome back to the Press the Action Button show. It's been a long time, but we're here again after a few weeks, and I'm always joined by my brother
Newman. Hello again.
I know you
never
hate
learn.
those intros.
But listen, yeah.
And I'm Yusuf. So we were away for a couple of weeks after New Year's, after Newman having a new little baby, which is, I assume, taking up all your time.
Has indeed, yeah. And then I got sick. I had a big swollen eye last week.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just been one thing after the other. But glad to finally be here. It's been too long. And we hope this will be same as it ever was.
That's because Newman will not stop singing that song before we started recording it. When I asked him what song, he just kept saying the words, same as it ever was.
Talking Heads, I think.
You just looked at it, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's Talking Heads.
I don't know.
Same as it ever was. So that's the show. It's the same show it ever was, except bigger, brighter, and something for 2023. So delighted to be back.
Yeah, it's been good. So we did a couple of our Let's Play episodes, which I did enjoy doing, but it's good to do these back just to talk about games. I've avoided talking to you about games for so long.
Yeah.
Every time I see you, I'm like...
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So anyway, tell us, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, not too bad at all. I kind of feel like, as I said to all my friends, when you've had another baby, it's just like you've pressed the reset button on your whole life, and all the things that you had lined up, like expectations, leisure time, gaming, it's just like reset button. It's funny way I use a gaming analogy for that as well. But anyway.
It also seems like for you all three of those things are the same. You expect to play some games, you want more leisure time to play games, and just gaming in general.
That's true, that's true.
Yeah.
But I've been doing other stuff like making some music and stuff.
Ooh.
And I bought a MIDI keyboard online there last week.
Did you?
Yeah, I haven't got it delivered yet, but looking forward to making some.
How many keys are on it?
41.
Okay, yeah.
That's enough.
I had a small little one.
Yeah, so I remember.
Yeah.
Did you ever use that?
Little bits. I was trying to, I used a little bit during lockdown, but then I kind of got distracted with it. I'm not musically gifted at all.
Yeah. Well, look, it's, yeah.
No,
It's just good fun. Like, it's, I enjoy it. But, yeah, that's it. I found 500 yen in my car this morning.
Oh, right. Oh, because you bought the Japanese car.
Yeah.
All right.
So whoever.
I was like, you've never been to Japan.
So my version of Daisuke, whatever his name is.
Daisuke is the gentleman who owned my car before I got it.
Yeah. And we could tell because his name was saved into the infotainment still.
Yeah,
but
and some of his songs are in some SD card in the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so when I was first driving, all I was able to see was just these music with like Japanese... like katakana or something, so I didn't know what they were, but I was like, oh, I'll listen to this.
Was it any good? Was music any good?
Some of it was alright, yeah. Some of it was okay. Some of it was terrible.
Yeah, your Daisuke left you just, all bass and no treble, and my Daisuke left me 500 yen.
Did I say this on the show before, where the music, the stereo system was crap in the car, and I was going to get a new one put into it, and then Newman's like, have you checked the settings of the car? And I was like, no, and I did, and he had so there's 3 settings. There's bass, treble, and mid-range, and bass and treble were up +9, and mid-range was -9, so there's 18 units in the difference, and I fixed it. It was
perfect.
It was
Daisuke, we're gonna find you one day and try and figure you out.
So he was an interesting man.
Yeah, so that's me really. How about you? How you been?
Grand, yeah, not bad. I'm excited. I'm going away to Iceland soon.
Oh, I hear it's quite cold there.
Oh yes, so I bought a load
Being
of...
Iceland.
I bought a lot of the winter gear, but I'm mainly going to go see the Aurora Borealis.
Ah, yeah. Located just in your kitchen. What does he say again?
At this time of year, this part of the country, at this time of the day, located entirely in your kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah, see? No. I said it so many times to my wife yesterday, she's like, stop saying that line. It's like an Aurora Borealis. So I'm looking forward to that, so that should be really good. Yeah, that'd be quite nice.
You're going to pick up some steamed hams?
Maybe, if I get it. The traditional Icelandic dish of steamed hams. So I'm very excited for that. Aside from that, I've been working away, playing a little bit of some games.
Oh, very good.
I have finished God of War.
Nice.
Ragnarok. You haven't finished it yet?
I'm pretty far in it.
Right.
I shed a tear at it yesterday.
No spoilers yet. We won't get into spoilers yet.
It was purely between Kratos and Atreus' relationship.
I think this is when I shed a tear too.
Yeah.
I remember, and you were like, "Oh, something really sad's gonna happen." Then, and I was just like, "It's not necessarily that kind of. It's just a touching, just a very lovely, lovely moment."
It is.
Yeah.
And being a father and having a son as well, like, you know, and just like, I can't take this. You know, it's just it's too much. And every time I see him, I'm like, boy.
It's a really good game.
Yeah,
it's a really, really good
game. It is really good, but I don't think it's it hasn't like pushed the limit or something, like, you know, what's pushed the envelope, I should say. It's a very good game, but it is basically just the first game again. You know, there's like, yes, you play as other characters and stuff, and they've tried to mix it up a little bit with the new weapons, but it is ultimately very samey. I mean, it's great, don't get me wrong, it's probably an 8.5 from what I've seen so far, but it's not like a 10 or, you know.
Well, like, I think well, look, we'll discuss it and we'll dissect it in a bit more detail when you get there, because I don't want to go into it fully, because I don't want to spoil anything for you or for anybody else. But I think like, a game doesn't necessarily need to push the envelope every single time.
No, it doesn't. But you know? No.
But like, it being a really enjoyable. Yeah, because the first one was so groundbreaking, especially of what we expected of God of War before that.
Exactly.
So like, it doesn't need to reinvent the bicycle every time.
No, exactly. No, look, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, it's just me having ridiculous expectation because God of War was so good and it was so different, and it was like, oh, I can't believe how good this is, you know. So for me, it's just like, you know,
it's that problem though, isn't it? Like, which I think bands have quite often, where like, you're like, oh, I love this album, and then the second album you're like, I kind of want more of the same, but I want it to be better. But then, you know, when bands do something, like, oh, it was not like the first album, and you're like, oh, it was a bit, you know, and it's that really tricky thing to do. And I think obviously when it comes to, it's a lot easier for a band to do like a completely different genre of music than it's for a game to kind of go.
Look, it's creativity, so I mean, I think you can never kind of judge someone by doing a second album that you don't agree with. But I think the acting has been really good. I really like Thor. He's been very enjoyable, you know, very believable. But anyway, we won't ruin it.
Yeah. Look into it. You been playing anything else?
Nothing at all.
Okay.
You?
I started playing a little bit of Crash Bandicoot. I got that. That was good fun.
The Insane
Trilogy that you get. So playing a little bit of that. That was good fun. And then what else was I playing? I started a little bit of the, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it YS?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I played
yes.
YS 8. So I just started that there the other day. And I haven't done too much else really on it. Yeah, so basically I when I finished God of War, I went back and did it and I platinumed it. So,
oh really?
Yeah.
Did you kill all the...
Yes, the Valkyrie equivalent of the first one.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, that's fun. Have you encountered some of them?
No, I've done some of the, like, you know, those gods, you know, like the Norse gods that are, you know, they put the ring around you when you fight them.
Berserkers,
sorry.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, those? Okay.
They're the equivalent.
I killed two of them.
Yeah, they're the, it's good, they're good fun. Yeah, enjoyable. Well, look, I don't want to be tiptoeing around anymore.
Let us not speak of God of War.
So let us get to some news.
Yes.
So, the first bit of news is quite similar to what I was talking about.
Gotta hit record.
Phil.
Actually, I saw some Crash Bandicoot toys in Smith's this morning.
Really?
And that's one of those IPs where the whole time I've been like, why aren't they making toys? Like, now you go into Smith's and you see like Sonic toys, Mario toys, and like people love Crash Bandicoot. So I mean,
that is true. Yeah,
he's there, and he is. There's him with leather jackets. There's Coco Bandicoot. They've got this like little disposable one that like is actually in a crate, and you have to break the crate to get the toy out.
Oh, that's excellent! I love that. That's really cool.
They must have sold them to someone else because, you know.
I just think like because I feel when we were kids, and I don't know why toy companies didn't do this, but I remember like there was like this shop up in Northside Shopping Centre, right, which is just this shopping centre that
Eurogiant?
Not very fancy. No, it was like a toy shop that was there.
I don't remember.
And they had I remember like going once and they had like X-Men toys. I was like,
Oh yeah.
because like we loved X-Men, loved the animated series, but
Yeah.
you couldn't get that shit
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah.
And then, but now it's like, you know, you walk into like a Tesco, like, you know, a grocery shop
Yeah,
over
they
in
got Mario
Ireland.
toys.
Yeah, and you can buy those
Yeah.
things. You're like, all right, or like I remember seeing like Final Fantasy Remake branded. Like noodles in the Tesco in London. It's just like, what? This is so weird.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, it's like, this is the most amazing thing ever before, but you didn't get it.
If only you kids knew what it was like to be a gamer back in the day. I remember that there were these Final Fantasy 8, like there was rumours of a Final Fantasy 8 vending machine in Barcode, which is a
club.
Well, is it a club? I suppose it is a club.
It was a club, yeah.
But it was a club. It closed down years ago.
They didn't have a license for the entire time they were running. That's why they closed down. They ran for like 20 years.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But anyway, I used to go there when I was young, and it was like 2 drinks for one. And after work, because I used to live close there, and I used to drink back then. But anyway, I don't need to do much detail. Rumour was they had Final Fantasy 8 figures in the vending machine. And there was a vending machine, there were Final Fantasy 8 figures, and they also had a vending machine with pheromones in it, like male pheromones in it. So I was always saying, I need to get down there to get the toys. And then of course I went down there, or no, I was going to go down there, and then my friend was like on the way down, and he's like, oh, they're all sold out. I was like, God's sake. It's like one of those places that, like, of all the places you might find a Final Fantasy 8 keychain.
Did they actually have it?
Yeah,
they
did.
Real?
They do used to have it, yeah.
That's so weird. It sounded like a sitcom where you went down and you accidentally bought the male pheromones instead of the Final Fantasy 8 figures.
Yeah.
Barcode, I've only been to Barcode 3 times in my life, and every single time they're quite strict letting people in. Every single time, the only reason I got in is because the person immediately before me got into a physical fight with the bouncer.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, I used to know the bouncer there. The bouncer was my friend Dave's brother.
Ah.
But I remember for Halloween I went up there, and probably a lot of people don't know this, but you know Extras?
The TV show with Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. And you know the guy with the wig, and he's like, when he does the sitcom, he's like, having a laugh, are you having a laugh?
I think I've seen bits of it, yeah.
I was dressed as him. And I went up and he didn't let me in, and I went, having a laugh, are you having a laugh? And he didn't get it, but anyway, he didn't let me in.
Oh.
So that was a...
Even though you knew him?
It wasn't him that
Oh,
night.
right, that's a shame.
Yeah, but anyway.
Anyway, enough talking about Barcode.
This is not the clubbing rejection podcast.
The reason we were talking about Crash Bandicoot is that the PS Plus collection, the collection of games that you get when you sign up to the basic level of PS Plus, there's a list of, I think, 19 games that you get for free.
Yeah.
Those games are some of the biggest hitters that are on PlayStation, the classics. Bloodborne, the first
Yeah.
God of War, The Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted Until Dawn, Ratchet & Clank, Days Gone, Detroit, as well as some other ones such as Persona 5, Resident Evil Biohazard, Mortal Kombat, Monster Hunter, Final Fantasy 15, Fallout 4, Crash Bandicoot, as you said, Batman and Battlefield, so as well as one or two other ones. And that was huge, and they were there for free for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
But Sony is getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So,
We touched on this last week.
did we talk about it?
Yes.
Anyway.
But yeah, which is fair enough.
I think it's fair enough, because it was
Yeah.
there for such a long time. But if you want to get them, you go on now and still get them and click add to your library without having to download them yet. And then basically that means when you get that, you can download it at any point in the future as long as you've got
I
PlayStation
love
Plus.
the fact that they do that. I think it's either they be really stingy, and if you've had the membership and it lapses, they get rid of all your old games, or they let you reactivate it when you re-get the membership, which is cool. So just download the stuff, guys, and get as much as you can now, because there are some really good games in that, especially if you haven't played it before.
Yeah,
so.
It's a great way as well. When they do their monthly games, if you're like, I don't know if I'm going to want to do this, but I know a lot of people, they just add it to their library anyway.
Same. I do that.
And it doesn't take any space up off you. It just stays there as long as you need it to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of these games, if you haven't played them, Resident Evil 7 is a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah.
Persona 5 Royal, I think is
What's
the better
the
version
again?
It's an extra one that they released with more in it.
So, but it's the same game.
Yeah,
the same core story and.
Well, Persona 5 has had some. Royal has some extra additional bits added onto it, so the battle system is a bit better too.
Oh, okay.
I think there's more characters in it, and the story goes longer as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a DLC, but there's also improvements to the base core game too.
Okay.
Persona have always done that.
Okay. I believe it's pronounced Royale, like the chicken Royale. Just
Royale with cheese. So there's some great games there which are really good. So some other news. So here's something I thought was a bit interesting, right? But nobody really cares about it.
Yeah.
Google Stadia has officially shut down. What can you tell me about Google Stadia?
All I know is that they really tried to launch it for a short time. For some reason, I have Half-Life. I don't know, was Half-Life on it? I don't know. Yes, they tried to do something in gaming and it failed miserably. Which actually, I won't say anything negative because this is on YouTube, but sucks to be Google right now.
It's a bit weird. So this is their streaming service that it just never really took off, and it seemed like they were going to do it like at the beginning they were talking about it loads, and they're like, oh, you can play these games anywhere, and it was 3 years ago they launched it, and apparently what they've actually done, which is quite cool, by the way, it's gone. They just announced in the morning of like the January 19th, bam, that's it, and they're refunding everybody who bought stuff through it as well.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool.
Fair play.
If you bought it through the Google Play Store.
Okay.
That's
a weird one.
It just seems so weird to me to like seem like you're gonna do this thing and then just not really fight for it. Like, it's Google. It's one of the biggest companies in the world. It's like possibly the only company that can, on a realistic terms, battle with Microsoft in that same way. And it's just a strange thing the way they do it, because I know Apple Arcade kind of tried to do something similar, obviously not with cloud streaming, but with the point of view of going, look, a lot of people have phones, a lot of people don't have games consoles, the power of phones are getting better and better, let's get some proper, you know, let's make this more than just an app that you download. They wanted to do a bit more on it, and that's fine because they're going for their very niche part of the market because everybody already has it. I just think it's really weird that Google started this for a bit and then they're like, oh, that thing's gone, I'll get rid of it, you know?
Well, you know why I don't think it's weird? I think people have like a bad impression of Google in their heads. You know, like for example, Sony aren't known for collecting your data and selling it and just being all about advertisers, and like neither are Microsoft really, even though they do. But you know,
Google
so, like,
are bigger for
Google are, like Facebook are, you know, all those kind of social media companies that have tried to get into the gaming scene. Like there's always like this element of like, what else are they trying to get? You know, here, you know, like even there was this lawsuit there recently where Facebook were. They made you sign up for a Facebook account to use the Oculus, and that was found to be illegal, basically, like uncompetitive. So I think that there's always that element of stuff like, you know, that, you know, I don't know, maybe just Sony are more trustworthy and Microsoft seem to be as well, and they've kind of had this long-standing war. Nintendo is just like, you kind of feel like they don't give a shit about anyone's data, you know what I mean?
They don't.
So like it's, but that's just me. That's why I would always, you know, coast away from. You know.
I mean, I do think they would have to do more to get you to go for it. But like the thing is with, you know, with Microsoft and with Sony, you need to buy their console.
True.
It costs a lot of money. True. I think you got to pay whatever it is for Stadia as well. But like the thing is, if something is free, then you're the product, you know what I mean? That's how it works. But like, I just mean, they could have been really groundbreaking in this. They could have just gone and bought some huge studios and go, you're going to make this next big game for us and only for us. But they didn't. You know, it's like, maybe you need to build a base first, but it seems like, I don't really know what they were doing.
Maybe they just have their fingers in too many pies, but like, I recently had an interview at Google, and I didn't get the job. But anyway, I won't say why I didn't get the job, but anyway, I in preparation for the interview, I signed up for their like advertising thing
Google AdWords
to learn about it, like, you know. And I was really surprised because I like unsubscribed from it and they kept sending me emails, and I unsubscribed from a second time and they kept sending me emails.
Oh, really?
And then I had to actually block the email address. So I was like, I didn't get that insight of like the pushiness of the advertising, you know, like that is like such a core to their business, and they're like really salesman like with it, like, you know. So I think I was surprised by that, because I was like, oh, Google is so slick, like, you know, they'd leave you alone, like, you know, but they didn't leave me alone.
I remember seeing this thing where they were like, Google used to have this idea of being these, they were in hoodies and they're young and they're they're quite cool, and they have like these nice offices where they look after the staff, and that stuff is all true. That stuff is all good to a certain extent. But it's also about like, they are also these giant corporate machines, but they are a bit smarter in what they and how they do some things. And they, you know, like that episode of Simpsons, like, where Bill Gates is like, I didn't get all this money, but I write a lot of checks. You know, it's like they don't get that big by being like, okay, cool, we'll leave you alone. It's like,
sure.
Google didn't make money until they started selling everything.
Yeah, I know.
And we were kind of talking about Microsoft fighting with Google, might be the only ones who could compete, and with competition. Well, as we all know, a big acquisition between Microsoft and we're trying to get Activision Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
So the UK government just threw a big wrench in the deal, and they said that we don't think it's going to be too good. We think it's going to be a problem for our consumers. Mm-hmm. And the EU has done something similar. So nothing is kind of solid yet. Of course, Microsoft are kind of going, this is fine. This won't really be a big deal. But it does seem like things are going to not go as smoothly as they wanted for.
Okay.
You know, so it's a bit strange because it seems like cloud gaming is a thing that's a big deal for Microsoft, and they think they're gonna have like 60% of the market, or they already do. And they're saying that Call of Duty is such a big game for a lot of people out there, especially the way they're doing a lot of free to play now. Versions of it. So they're going, look, this is too much for one company to own, and Microsoft are saying things like, we'll do these long-term deals, and you can get it for 7 years, we guarantee it'll be released on both, it'll be the same price, and you get the same version of everything. I think people know that gaming isn't something that's going to disappear in 7 years' time, though.
True.
Call of Duty was big more than 10 years ago, and I think it'll still be big in 10 years' time. Like, same as, some of the biggest games that you can think of, like, you think about, like, a Final Fantasy game. That's been going back from the early 90s.
Yeah, true.
That'll probably still be huge to some extent later on.
Yeah.
Same for, like, Tekken and Street Fighter, these really big games. And, new games come along every once in a while, and they like really shake things up. But I think they know that if you say, oh no, we'll let this be even on both of them for 10 years, that's not good enough. Like, if I was Sony, I wouldn't be happy with that deal. You go, well, look, this isn't true. That's the lifeline of one console. What about the next console?
Generally I think competition is good. To like push them to give you better things as a consumer. When they're pitting themselves against each other. Like, perfect example was the game sharing, when they were launching PlayStation 4. Yeah. But look, maybe it just is too much now, Microsoft. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens with it, but I think that'll be quite a big stumbling block for them, because in the EU were doing similar, but the UK were the first ones to kind of go, we think this will be bad for competition. And that's good. That's good. That's good for consumers. Doesn't matter who you are. That's good overall. Because even if Microsoft are like, hey, we now have everything we do for cheap, if they eventually get a monopoly, there's a point where you don't want a company having that much power.
That's true. That's true.
And then, last but certainly not least,
I think I know what you're going to show me here.
There was a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show the video footage of it, because Nintendo have really strict copyright laws on YouTube.
Okay.
But a look at some of the games that are coming out on it. So, the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I saw a poster for that today in the GameStop.
Yeah, it seems like it's coming out soon.
Our cousin Andy Cantwell played that. Again, TikTok star Andrew. He said he didn't like it.
Did he not?
Well, he said he doesn't know what the fuss was about. He said. Like,
of course, he said that.
Why?
Underwhelmed by everything, Andy.
No, he loved Last of Us. He loved Dead Space.
He did, yeah, that's true. Because everybody says something is good, and he's like, and you know that. You absolutely know that. So I think it's going to be coming out this year. It's weird because I do know some people who they love the Zelda games, and they're like, it doesn't really feel like a Zelda game, but I think it's fantastic. You still haven't played it yet, have you?
Nope.
I think you absolutely should play it.
I will play it.
I think you will absolutely love it. So the sequel's coming out, as well as a couple of other games, but I think one big thing, which I wonder actually how you feel about this. The Game Boy library being added to.
I didn't hear about this now.
So they're adding loads of classic Game Boy games, Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, to the Switch library. So they already are doing that with N64.
Yeah.
They added to it, and they of course added GoldenEye recently.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's redone, isn't it? Remastered.
GoldenEye?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they've done a remastered GoldenEye, haven't they?
No, you're thinking of Metroid.
No, I'm thinking of GoldenEye.
Really?
Yeah. That was the story I thought you were going to tell me.
No, what I saw, it doesn't look remastered.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think you'll realise when you go back and you play it, check it out, that when you go back and you look at it, that it doesn't look quite as good as you might have remembered it looking. So they're adding these Game Boy and Game Boy Classic games.
Yeah.
So they've already had their online thing, which I don't have. Like, I haven't played my Switch in such a long time. because I've just been playing a lot of stuff on PlayStation 5. But they're adding these older games are there, some of the older Mario games, some of the older Zelda games, so
You're right.
should be quite good. Yeah, it's not it's not a remaster. I think it's borderline unplayable.
Still one of the most sped run. Is that how you'd say?
Speed runs?
Yeah. Anyway, most of the most sped run games ever.
Yeah, I mean, people do love those games. They are really good fun.
I just can't believe, like, I think it was 8 people made that game or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Remember?
a tiny
Unbelievable, and they never made a game before.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
should just get random people off the street and just, like, you know, throw some money at them and see what they can do.
No, it's a terrible idea.
Actually, that's how Trombone Champ came out.
Oh, I don't have the meant to get it for you, but did you see the Final Fantasy
Yeah,
music
you showed
rhythm
me.
action
It was
game?
brilliant,
Yeah, they're
yeah.
quite good. So if anybody doesn't know, you play. It's a rhythm action game where they kind of like chibi style art style of the characters, and you go through like the entire Final Fantasy series and there's like 300 songs, so you can go through it like that.
Brilliant.
But the other biggest news now, they remastered and have already released Metroid Prime. Do you remember Metroid Prime?
Yeah.
The Metroid Samus game. Meant to be absolutely fantastic. Yeah,
We played that one.
We had the game
first person one.
Yeah, the first person one.
First person one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good fun.
Cool.
Yeah, which is quite different from its sort of, because they released the most recent Metroid, which was the old school, Castlevania looking graphics, side scrolling sort of thing. But yeah, so this is the 3D one, and yeah, quite good.
Very nice.
Quite good fun. So that is it for my news.
Nice.
Do you have anything?
Not really. No. You're on the news today, my friend. So I'll have more entertaining stories for you next week.
I'm not giving out to you. You sound like you think I am.
No, I mean, I always pick the kind of obscure stories, the stories no one wants to hear.
That's you, all right. That's you in a nutshell. Well, if not, do you want to get into your review?
Yes.
Oh.
What do you think this is, Yusuf?
I don't know what this is.
It is Nioh 2.
Is it?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Looks really nice, doesn't it?
I didn't. It's a bit like more cartoony shaded than I thought it would be.
Really?
I thought so. Yeah. Like the numbers on it and like everything looks kind of like bright and vibrant.
Yeah. Well, this is just this level now, but this I've been playing a lot of this. This was a game that I got for free, as part of my tier 2 membership.
Right.
And I don't know what it is. I really have taken to the, and there I'm fighting a Japanese umbrella, as you do in these Japanese games.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why I kind of do really like these games, but don't like the Dark Souls games. I
think they're very different from Dark Souls games.
Yeah, they must be.
I think they're very different.
They must be, but like it is outrageously difficult. I mean, I went from playing this game to playing God of War, and I was like, God of War is the easiest game I've ever played. Like this will show you how difficult this game is. So this is actually one area where I was I got caught by the spotlight, and every time an enemy has a red smoke around it's unblockable. And if you basically get any enemy more than one, you're basically dead at any time. So, like, I'm like, right, I gotta get out of here.
There's a lot going on. My
stamina is gone, so I can't run. And I got a little stamina back, but then, of course, something comes in. But so I mean, it's a really difficult game, but every game is just like this whole strategy. I'm looking at this game knowing what is going on here, and I know that every movement that I'm trying to do is calculated. Even where I am in this arena, like, and of course I keep missing them, which isn't helping things. But they really mixed it up from the first game. Like they kind of, I wouldn't say they perfected it, but they added in a lot of little extra bits that made it. I'd say first of all, the first game was very dark, and it was very. There wasn't a whole lot of nuance to the combat. I mean, a lot of things are the same, like the stances and a lot of the weapons, but there's stuff in this where you can kind of use summons almost, and you kind of transform into them.
Cool.
And then you can also have a secondary summon, and they'll add like effects to your weapons, etc. But it's one of those games that you have to want to play it, because it is extremely difficult.
Yeah, it's asking a lot of you.
It does ask a lot of you, like, and you can even like. When I saw this was free on my tier, I was like, I definitely have to get this, because I really did enjoy the first one. Now, having said yeah, see that's one of your like
summon.
Exactly. But I thought that this game looked really nice as well. You know?
It does, yeah.
And you can see those snake creatures down there. Oh my god, they're just such a pain. Every time I saw them, I didn't want to fight them. Even though I can kill them, but like they have this petrify stare thing, and like see, she petrified me there, but they're just horrible to fight. But you can see the guy in blue. I summoned him. You can basically use some of these items that you get during the game to summon people to come in to help you. Now that's not a real person. That's just like a computer
an NPC
one. But you can use real people as well. But like for the game that it is, the only thing that stops it being super enjoyable is the stamina bar. You can see like how quickly my stamina bar goes down, and I use very light equipment here, and I went out on my way to try and increase my stamina, but they even tried to add a little bit of humor in it. So you can see this cutscene in it, and
so you with the mask?
Yeah, I really like games where it actually puts the clothes you're wearing in the game into the cutscenes. Yeah. But so I like that they tried to add a bit more character into this.
These things are like, I find as long as they don't feel unfair, then you want a bit of a difficulty curve to it, because like games aren't fun or aren't enjoyable if they're prohibitively hard, but I like that feeling of I've succeeded in beating a difficult game.
That's it. You do get a real sense of accomplishment when you beat a boss that you're stuck at for a long time. Like that first boss that I saw you there, Enra, I was stuck at him for ages.
Right.
And and the problem is that every time you die, you go back to your last save point, so you have to work your way back to him.
Yeah.
And then you also have to like calculate if it's worth trying to run to him, which it never is.
The thing is, you get impatient, and then the people you took out carefully, you now can't take out at all.
Exactly.
When you get mobbed by them.
And like just a skeleton will kill you. Like God. So yeah, there is a lot of variety in the enemies in this, which is actually very, very nice. And there's like you have your musket, and then you have your arrows as well.
Yeah.
You've got spells. You can choose from a variety of different weapons. You can have like long swords. I always use a double swords. You basically use two weapons. So you can have like this sickle on a chain. You can have like a massive majority. For me, I always enjoyed the double swords because they're quick.
It's like I think I do the same thing as you. I always go for like a dex build over like a power build, because I just, when you feel quick, I think it's a way more enjoyable experience just to dash really quickly, get a couple of hits in, get out of the way, rather than try to brute force your way through.
Exactly, and the thing is, you actually do have the brute force element in it, and you can see you have to like use your weapons on the go if you don't have them hotkeyed. But this enemy is actually enjoyable because if you get him in the eye, he goes down like that for a while, and then you can get a few hits in. But the variety of enemies is actually really enjoyable. Like it's so Japanese though, isn't it? Like these are all demons and like probably Japanese mythology. 3 red eyes, and if you hit them, like but there's no easy way around this game, and like that's the thing. Like it's you really have to be in the mood to play it, because it's not like I'll just chill out and play this game. It's like I have to plan everything. I have to make sure I make the right moves here. I don't screw up, and but like some of them are just like.
But like you know that feeling when you go in and you deal with like a boss or a really strong enemy the first time, and they instantly kill you.
Yeah.
And then by the end, when you finally beat them, you don't get hit by the first time. But the first time you go, what am I meant to do? I just walked into the room and they killed me one hit.
Yeah.
But when you finally get by that, it's so satisfying. That I'm just gonna be like, okay, I know what to do now, and I wasn't just standing there like an idiot.
Yeah.
But it's tough.
But that's what I really like about this game, is that it's like, once you figure out the strategy, and like it feels like it's so well balanced.
Yeah.
That it's been really thought out how you will fight this enemy and how you will get around him and how you will make it work. It's really enjoyable. So, really good game. And there's these Twilight missions as well, which you do, which is like everything is like much more difficult, but you can get like really better gear. So I'll give it an 8.5. It's a very good game.
Better than the first?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I haven't gone. I played the. What was it? The Final Fantasy Origin ones. Stranger Paradise. Remember I reviewed that on this. And I thought that was shite.
Yeah.
Same makers, but I think that was them kind of phoning it in.
Yeah.
Trying to get it done. But like idea of that sort of game, where I do like the idea where you can have a build and you can know what you're doing, and the sense of satisfaction when you can accomplish
Yeah,
what
it's
you
great. Yeah.
button your head off for a while.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So what you got?
Let's see now. Hey. So, do you know what this is?
I know what this is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Did you play it?
SUPERHOT.
Yes.
Yeah, I did play it.
All right, okay. So for anybody who doesn't know, SUPERHOT is a bit of an interesting shooter, first-person kind of puzzle game.
Yeah.
So the way it works is these enemies only move when you move. And you wake up in these kind of sort of puzzles where if it was in real time, you would die instantly. But because you can look around and things move super slow-mo, you're able to react. And so, for example, pick up this thing, pick up the ball, throw it at the guy. He drops his gun. I take his gun off him and shoot him. I'm lining up my shots. This guy's running. You can still miss because they are constantly moving a little bit. They'll move in the time your bullet travels.
Hold on. Are you playing this in VR?
No.
I played this in VR.
Did you?
Yeah.
How was it in VR?
It was very I'm going for the word dysfunctional, disorientating. I thought. It was good, but I think I would enjoy it more like this, to be honest.
See, the thing is, right, so the puzzle aspect is quite good, and the first time I threw something at somebody, and then they drop their gun, and then I grab their gun out of the air, and then I shoot them, and then I run out of bullets, and I throw the gun at the end, and then I shoot the last person, and then I'm like, okay, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then it drove me up the wall.
Yeah.
I did not get on with it.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, part of it is that when you finish every level, they do this stupid loading sequence every time.
Yeah.
And I was playing God of War at the same time, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I was doing some of these like different struggles in God of War, like some of the hard extra bosses. And you go and you die, and then I'd go and I would just load up quicker and be able to go again. I shouldn't be able to do that faster on a game that looks as good as God of War. It gives me that many different abilities. I know this is an older game, but it looks simple with the idea that it's easier to play.
Yeah.
You know, that it'll go through quicker and easier. And I just didn't. I thought I would love it, and then I didn't get it. I just found it just really frustrating.
Well, this is an old game, you said. This is what, like 5, 6 years old?
6 years old, yeah.
So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I this is one of the games where I was like, you know, when I was into the whole VR scene, I was like, oh, I need to like look into this and see, you know, this is one everyone's saying is great. And it like, first of all, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I really thought I'd love it. The story's kind of interesting that, you know, it's like there's like a hacker and they're sending you like games that you can play.
Yeah.
And some bits are funny, like this guy's at the toilet and you start this way, punching him in the back of the head. And like some bits are fun, like how interactive some bits are. And of course that's the first time I did that level. I didn't know somebody opened that door. I just missed it. But like there you go, pick up a bottle, and then in this there's playing pool, and you can pick that up, and you pick up different weapons and shotguns and swords, and it's all quite good fun. But I found it too annoying. I found like it's made in a way so that you don't know when people are going to spawn in out of nowhere, what they're going to do, what weapons they have. It's the first time I saw anybody with a shotgun. Yeah. You know, so you're like, oh right, so I need to go this a bit harder. I didn't know someone's going to come out there. I don't know if a hit with the pool ball will kill somebody. You know? So you're like, okay, that's fair enough. Let me figure out these things. But when they're doing those things at the same time, and then you need to watch like a 5-second loading thing.
It's annoying.
It's like the opposite of like Super Meat Boy, super quick. Okay, back into it.
You know, well, a game's that frustrating. You want it to be that quick to pick back up again. Yeah. But what what about the aesthetic? What do you think about that?
I'm okay with it. Like, you know, like clearly if something can't do good graphics, go for stylized. I think that's really cool and that's quite good fun. And I think that I'm okay with that. I think that works well. Why do you dislike it?
No, it's not that I dislike it. And you know, I think that a lot of the times, I think either you need unbelievable graphics in a VR game, or you can have something basic like this that still feels immersive. I think it kind of where you get it kind of in between is when it doesn't feel believable. Weirdly, I know that doesn't make sense, but like and this is one where I felt like I was kind of in the room. But because of the stop-start nature of it, wasn't in the same way immersive. You know, it just felt like it felt like it was. I don't know, it was just a weird feel, I'd say.
Like, the thing is, in this, you're not meant to feel like you're looking at real people.
No.
You're meant to feel like you're in a unfinished, untextured room.
Yeah.
And that's great, and that looks
Yeah.
great for that. But like, I think in Resident Evil 7, for example, all the detail there really adds to it, and that's great. But of course, you couldn't have a game that looked as good as Resident Evil 7 and have this many enemies on screen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And have as much intelligence of like bullets, of different bullets all flying and keeping track of their trajectory and where they'll go.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to do that. So I'm okay with that. I feel like it was such a good idea, and I know it's an older game, but I just found it a little bit too frustrating to play.
Yeah. For me too. And I can't remember why I stopped playing it, but it was definitely one where sometimes I feel people just need to write a piece. And they just choose 10 games that like, oh, these are great VR games or something, because they want to fill the piece. And SUPERHOT was always there, so I had massive expectations for it, and then when I played it, I was like disappointed. I still think the best VR games are those that are on rails, and like you're shooting, as things move.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, well, that's a couple of years ago. I haven't played in a couple of years now. But
well, the second PS VR 2 is out just around now, which is, I know what you mean. It's probably where you're going to see all these articles where they're going to be talking about these different games that are going to be brilliant. Like
there's 6 games.
We
have to name 5 of the best.
That's really expensive, by the way. The new PlayStation.
Is it?
It's about the same price as a PlayStation 5.
No.
And you need a PlayStation 5 to play it.
Wow. So
you're looking at around £1,000 to get to play it.
Oh shit.
And apparently some of the older games you cannot play with it.
Okay.
So it's not even like if you've already invested money into it, you can continue playing it. So this
Well,
is a fun level where you just start off with a truck flying towards you. You're like, okay, that's great, that's fun, and I was enjoying it. But just when every level does that, and you're just like getting used to things, I just found it too annoying. Like I wanted just to go quick, go again.
Yeah. Look, kudos to the people. It's an indie game, really, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it, doesn't it? So, kudos for them trying it. And I know it was originally, as far as I know, it was a VR game.
Yeah.
So it looks like they've tried to mix it up a bit. But look, yeah. I mean, what would you? What's the use of rating?
I think I would. It's fun to give it a go, and it was free, I believe.
Okay.
Was it free? Yeah, I think it must have been free because I only got paid for this. So look, maybe like a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I'd tell someone to give it a go. I wouldn't really tell a lot of people to play it.
That sounds generous. 6 out of 10. You wouldn't tell someone to play it.
I know, but like it's not like I go, oh, it's shite, it's a waste of your time.
Okay,
I didn't get on with it.
Okay, fine. Fair enough.
I didn't really get on with it. Okay, so we're not doing a Let's Play as part of this.
Not now, anyway.
Yeah, because we're separating them up. So thank you for everybody for coming back and joining us again in person like this, where you can see our lovely faces. I'm covered in hair, so I just got my hair cut.
I got my haircut yesterday too.
So maybe don't look too closely, but aside from that, it's really good to be back.
Yeah, great to be back, and we love each and every one of you, especially you, Balrog. So thank you, everyone, and we hope we'll be back to you next week.
You mean Corey Balrog, the maker of God of War, or Balrog from Street Fighter?
Corey Balrog? Is that someone who made the game?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Subconsciously gone to your head, or were you thinking of Street Fighter?
I was thinking of Street Fighter.
Okay.
I think I was watching a clip with Mike Tyson getting annoyed at someone during an interview earlier today. That probably joined me to Balrog.
Alright.
So
that's the thing, wasn't it? That he was originally called was it Bison, yeah.
T Bison or something.
T Bison, yeah. Or M Bison for anyway, they changed. Anyway, thank you very much. And if you want to get in contact, please do it. Press the action button pod at gmail.com.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.